Mechanics of Reddit. What vehicles will you absolutely not buy drive due to what you've seen at work? I own a frame and suspension shop. Answer. Dodge. I wanted to get a Jeep Wrangler when I bought my car a year ago. But after some extensive research in forums and reading consumer reviews, it seems like Chrysler has some of the worst quality control of any manufacturer. Any new model automatic Focus. The MT are fine, but the automatics are the most trash pieces of shit. We've had multiple come in with less than 5k mics with transmission leaks. I've not driven one that doesn't shudder when you accelerate from a stop. Edit. Thanks so much for the gold. There's a class action lawsuit against Ford for those cars. Claims adjuster. I've seen more than a handful of Hondas, Civic and Accord, hit a deer full speed and still be able to drive them to a safe location. Solid. Edit. Holy crap. Nearly 25k upvotes? I had no idea Honda had so many fans. My very first car was a 1979 Honda Civic. The odometer had stopped at over 200. 000. I drove it for about 3 years. I don't remember ever changing the oil. What? I was 16. I paid $400 and sold it for like $500. Best car I ever had in my life. I'd buy another in a heartbeat. My grandfather was an engineer for Chrysler's aerospace division in the 60s. During his employment and retirement he was able to buy any Chrysler vehicle basically at cost. He always drove a Ford. Sunfire. I own 2 and you have to take the F-King front wheel off to do an oil change. Worst design choice. Subarus are great cars. Except for the Tribeca. At work we call them turds. Love my Impreza. Just bought a 2003 one this year for $1,000 and it runs like a dream. Chrysler Sebring. Specifically the V6 one. Company card white. You've earned it. Michael knew all along how terrible the car was. Dodge. Jeep. Chrysler. Edit. Where is the anger coming from? People? Edit. I know that your Dodge Jeep Chrysler is perfect. You've got 420k on the odometer blazit and you've never even changed the oil. Once in 2002 you had to replace a headlight bulb. But that was after your sister's boyfriend borrowed the car to climb Everest. I get it. Edit. Thank you for the gold. My dad's a mechanic and he says Volkswagen New Beetles. My first car was a Volkswagen New Beetle. Needed a new radiator? Guess the whole front end is coming off. Again. Edit. Apparently this pertains to all VWs. Get your shit together Volkswagen. You go. Although it's push to start. Just make sure to keep your back straight when pushing as to not injure yourself. Never buy a car the first year they redesign or remodel it. Always run into issues that they fix the second year or third year they release it. Any US Navy submarine. Talk about overpriced. And parts? Good luck. We don't have any money. Oh. It's a nuclear part? Never mind about us being broke. Here's $400 for that 2-inch O-ring. May as well order 12 of them while you're at it. Source. Nuclear mechanic and US Navy. Edit. Phew. My highest comment score. At least it was about subs and not clown RP or something silly. I just bought a used Suzuki Swift for cheap only to find that Suzuki has pulled out of North America entirely. We've already had issues with it. So. This is gonna go great. Edit. I feel I should clarify that the issues were minor ones. And easily fixed. And several people have said that their Suzukis are very dependable. And that Chevrolet Avia or Geo Metro parts should work just fine if anything does happen. So that's good. Thanks. Everyone. Edit 2. Disabling inbox replies because I've gotten lots of very helpful comments. And then some people who just want to berate me for not noticing Suzuki's disappearance. Everyone laughed when I bought my Kia. But I don't see it listed here. Although. The thread is still early. I'll be back to check later. Then, most likely, cry at the results. When I was looking to buy a used car, I found a Land Rover for 2k. My father, who was a mechanic, said to me, "Yeah, it'd look great on the back of a tow truck." My mechanic told me never to buy a VW. So I bought an Audi. The turbo failed at 100k. You know VW owns Audi, right? He does now. Do not buy a Ford Fiesta or Focus automatics from 2012 to 2016. Their power steering is fucked. Their transmission is fucked. Both have a class action lawsuit out right now. http fordtransmissionsettlement.com. If you don't want your house getting broken into, park a Ford Fiesta in your driveway. Burglars will know you can't afford anything valuable. Gen 1 Porsche Cayenne. They're getting cheap enough for most people to afford, but the cost of maintenance is ridiculous. Isn't it the guideline for Porsche? If you can't afford to, don't bother getting one. Control Plus F Subaru. Nothing perfect, except had gasket problems. True. Pretty much anybody's project. I've had customers come in because the repair was out of their ability and had their hands all over it. I absolutely hate having to double back because someone had already messed something up. My dad is a mechanic and he says for Audis that you ought not buy one. If you want a foreign car like BMW or Audi, you better be rich enough to pay for all the parts, and you better live by a garage that works on those. Edit. I'm surprised by the amount of people that are arguing about the Audi pun. I'm trying to dodge those comments. The pronunciation is a bit wonky for it to work the best way. Audi is close to how you say it for the pun. It is just a joke. Sorry it doesn't match your sacred pronunciation of Audi, which I use outside this pun. Mercedes-Benz are going to put my kid through college. Every part is artificially inflated, and I have a theory that every job takes some FKED specialty tool just so you have be at the dealer or a German shop. Also any Cadillac with the North Star V8. Just FCK no. Also Dodge. New ones are piles and old ones will run for 400k, but the body is going to rust off the frame by 100k. According to a BMW mechanic I work out with, BMW, at least in the US. I'd imagine they may be a bit more affordable in Europe. From what I've gathered, they're like Beats headphones. Dodge Grand Caravan. 60k miles on it and I've replaced the rear brakes 5 times and it already has a misfire. Buy Asian. Seems to be the takeaway from this thread. 2012 to 2016 Ford Focus. The clutches go constantly. To the point where they made it a service bulletin. And it continues to happen after the warranty is up. Dodge, verb. To avoid. At least they are being consistent with the name. The news headlines tonight is gonna read something like Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge stock plummeted today thanks to Reddit. Double quote. My immediate family all drive Honda. We are good friends with the owner of the local dealership. We've all had multiple models hit 200k plus without issues. I've had my Accord for 11 years and have about 210k miles on it, and last week was my most expensive repair. Replace the battery lead cables. $200 said and done. We've driven Pilots, Accords, Odysseys, Civics. Not an issue. I will never buy a car that isn't a Honda or Acura. Son of a Mazda mechanic. If you live in the north, or anywhere it gets remotely cold, do not buy an RX-8. It won't work 3-4 months out of the year, and will need constant, expensive care in the other months. The problem with the RX-8, and Wonkles in general, is that people treat them gently. You need to start them and rev the tits off them from cold, which is counterintuitive. How about medics of Reddit? Because Volvo. Yes. Ford Explorers. No. Dodge Neons. Also no. Honda. Also yes. I'm actually kind of amazed that more people don't shoulder tap their firefighter medic ED doc friends for car purchasing advice. Don't buy a 2013 Jetta. It has general mechanical issues. And if you crash it, it's FKed. Trust me. Edit. Now. In searching for the photos, I found my insurance claim paperwork. VW recalled over 500,000 of these turkey sandwiches in 2012 for electrical, suspension and exhaust issues. Just bought a brand new Jeep a month ago and this thread has me wanting to cry. You are going to encounter lots and lots of electrical problems. My buddy bought a new Grand Cherokee after I told him not to and he's brought that thing in so many times for electrical issues. He's so bitter about it. I'm sorry for your loss. My Hummer H3 is the worst damned car on the planet. Since hitting 110k, I've had to do a $700-900 repair every 2 months or so. The car is paid off, but with these repairs I might as well be having a car payment. Dude, look up recalls and get them fixed. My boss's H3 went up in flames and burned to the ground because there was a recall he didn't know about. Fire started under the glove box. Mechanic here. To be fair and honest, there isn't a single brand or model to pinpoint. It's all about how you take care of it. I've seen $200k cars that I wouldn't piss on to put out a fire. And I've seen $2k vehicles that are apocalypse proof. Some of my friends and company workers that spend so much money on repairing their cars or buying new ones just to neglect them and get to the same "oh it's a piece of shit" mentality. Meanwhile, my derelict, in appearance, 18-year-old truck, I've been the owner for the last 8, soldiers on with just basic service and a few fixes and upgrades here and there. I can tell you my impressions on the brands I've worked with, but I doubt anyone wants to read 20 paragraphs of me nerding out about cars. I bought a 2017 Toyota Tundra a few months ago. The week after buying it, I got under the truck and looked. Every weld joint had paint flake on it. Toyota field service tech investigated it and said it's within the quality control. Looked at several others on the lot and they all had the same issue. I'm stuck with it for now, but next year if they haven't fixed their issue I don't know that I'll be going back with them. The salt sprayed winters of the Midwest will kill that frame. I had the vehicle undecorated and had finial coat installed. I doubt I'll have any issues, but I feel bad for anyone who doesn't take precautions to cover the bare metal on the frame. I'm an engineer who works on paint quality on agricultural vehicles and my company says any paint flake is grounds for stop shipment of vehicles, especially on weld joints. This can cause catastrophic failures later on. Not a mechanic, but I own an 07 Chevy Tahoe I bought used and have had engine problems, failed lifters, ended up needing a whole new engine. Multiple mechanics told me, oh yay, these V8 Chevys all have this issue around 100,000 miles. Why did no one tell me before I bought it? PS. Ignore this if you would like to buy my Tahoe. Brand new engine. Glad to see my Chevrolet Silverado surviving this thread just fine. Dodge trucks not so much. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I'll say V6 Hondas and Acuras with 5-speed automatics. The transmission is fine in 4-cylinder cars, but apparently has a fluid passage design flaw that can become further restricted with debris, causing overheating and failure of one or more clutch packs. The issue seems to manifest itself due to the extra torque in V6 applications. I believe it only affects model years 0206. There's a reason that 03 Accord Coupe V6 is a third the price of a similar 4-cylinder model. The V6 might be on its second or third transmission. Well, here's a thread I'm saving. I'm gonna be in the market for a car in a couple of years, and manufacturers seem to be doing more and more stupid shit that makes it more difficult to repair and maintain them. It's bad enough that they all got rid of non-interference timing belts, so now you've got a time bomb in the engine if you lose a belt. Control plus F canine arrow. Q. Dodge a bullet right there. Yeah. But it ain't no Thunder Cowgar Falcon bird. 12 yards long and 2 lanes wide. 65 tons of American pride. My dad is a mechanic, and he hates Volkswagens. He doesn't hate them because they are crappy quality. He hates them because of how they're put together. He says fixing anything on a Volkswagen is a pain, no matter how old or new it is. I own a 1974 Volkswagen microbus. So the poor man is stuck fixing at least one Volkswagen for pretty much forever, read. Until he retires. Lol. He told me when I buy a new, used, car. If I buy a Volkswagen, I might be looking for a new mechanic. Lol. Toyota, Honda, Ford, VW, Volkswagen, BMW, Porsche, Mercedes. No problems. Just felt like giving people doing Control plus F a heart attack. I used to hear terrible things about Hyundai, but not so much anymore. I love GM cars and wish they still made Saturn. Every mechanic I know, including my friend's dad who is a master tech, said Volkswagen is hands down the most annoying car to work on. Audis. Beautiful ride, but as soon as you need to fix something on it you better have a spare kidney lying around to sell. Life cheat. Pontiac vibe. Valued like an old Pontiac but hiding under the hood is a full Toyota drivetrain. The very same 4-cylinder that you find in Toyota Corolla, Matrix, its sister car, and other 4-banging Yaris. It's cheap to own, fix, and insure. Plastic cargo area with tie-down channels and rings. Fold down front pass seat turns into a shelf or desk. And the damn thing won't die. Mazda RX-8 badass little car. Fun to drive. Drivetrain riddled with issues. Anything Chrysler is just going to be shit. Simple as that. Sob, just don't. TBH with the exception of your Honda Toyota stuff. Anyone's ultra cheap economy car is built to make it through the warranty and not much further. You get what you pay for. Anyone notice that Camaro Z28s from the 90s, LT1 models, are absolute tanks that have been getting the shit beat out of them by high school kids for the last 2 decades? Claims are just a hair. If a car is cheap, new, it will run and handle accidents like a cheap car. i.e. Chevy Avia Cruze, Dodge Dart Neon, Ford Focus etc. I work at a Chrysler dealership and I will never buy any of their products now. They good if you're looking for a vehicle that you can't drive for 4 months at a time because parts aren't available. Anything with a CVT transmission. Those things suck. You just killed the guy that said he searched Subaru and found nothing. I think the takeaway from this thread is that if you can't buy Japanese, settle for Korean. And if you can't buy Korean, walk it. The specific brand of car I work on every day. Of course you think the one you service is trash. All you see are broken ones. No one brings a car into a mechanic to show off how well it works. Let me clarify as some seem confused. If you only work on BMWs and think they are garbage, it's because you do not see Fords, Hondas, or Chevys. If you work on all makes and models, then that is more interesting but still rife with bias because of selective issues. I read quite a few comments saying I relative works on BMWs so they are junk. Which couldn't be a worse way to judge quality. A new car built by my company leaves somewhere traveling at 60 miles per hour. The rear differential locks up. The car crashes and burns with everyone trapped inside. Now, should we initiate a recall? Take the number of vehicles in the field. A. Multiply by the probable rate of failure. B. Multiply by the average out of court settlement. C. A times B times C equals X. If X is less than the cost of a recall, we don't do one. Anything German. Unless you work on them daily and have the money to fix them. FCK them in the tailpipe. Also the PT Cruiser can FCK right off. Not a professional mechanic, but an enthusiast who can turn a wrench. I would never own a 90s or newer Chrysler Dodge. Unless it was a project car that was going to be getting a non-Daimler Chrysler FCA source drivetrain swap. That said, I would drive the piss out of an SRT4 Neon with big turbos. But it would be a second car that I wouldn't rely upon. My stepdad is a mechanic and always swore against Renaults due to them always having electrical issues. I didn't listen and bought myself a Renault Megane. 9 months down the line the electric windows stopped working. Should have listened. My $32,000 Dodge Charger has had so many electrical issues. It's only 8 months old and has 10,000 miles on it. I mean, yes. Dodge fixed it for free twice because of warranty, but I had to leave my car at the shop for 1 whole week each time. Pretty soon the lemon law is going to come into effect. Don't buy a GMC Acadia unless you are okay paying $100 plus for labor to replace a headlight.